Recently, Dave released his album, and if you're on the internet, you've probably seen it anywhere. You've probably seen people post it. People have different opinions. You've heard of the album in some shape or form. And my question is, how does Dave achieve this with little marketing from himself, right? If you've been following or if you're online, people were dissecting his previous albums or his previous lyrics before the album dropped. And now that the album has dropped, you're not even seeing Dave push out so much content himself, but everybody's talking about the album. And I think that there's a lesson in this for anybody in business who wants to achieve huge impact and huge scale. And today we'll be dissecting some of the business lessons we can learn from Dave's album. For context, my name is Nana Kojo. I am a founder who took my business from nothing to six figures. I'm also a final year student at Tashesi University studying management information systems. And yeah, let's get into it. So, the core thing you need to understand about what Dave was able to achieve is Dave built a really good product. A lot of businesses now feed into hype cycles. A few years ago, there was a tech hype cycle because a lot of billionaires were from the tech industry. Someone comes up with an app, cooks $1 billion valuation, takes it IPO, and then they're a billionaire. So a lot of people were trying to build the next big app, the next Instagram, the next Facebook, the next Airbnb, you name it. And I think that in every season there are hype cycles. So right now we're in the hype cycle of AI, we're in the hype cycle of content is king, we're in the hype cycle of build your personal brand, and there's even a term among founders we use called building in public, where people are documenting the process. And I think that all of that is useful and good, but we need to still focus on the foundation of building a good business, which is having a good product. So looking at Dave's album, for example, before Dave's album comes out, his previous work is so good that it builds validation for him in the marketplace, and it builds anticipation. People are dissecting some of what the lyrics mean up until this date. Albums that were, I think his last album was 4 years ago, and people are still dissecting what some of these lyrics mean or what he's trying to say in the songs. And fast forward to now, there are so many. I'm sure if you go on YouTube, if you go on TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, you're seeing people dissect the album now in real time, trying to figure out, connect dots, and understand why he's such a great artist. And I think when you build a product like this, it stands the test of time, and it builds depth with the customer or depth with whoever is experiencing the product. So 4 years, 5 years down the line, the person's still in awe of the product. I make clothes, and I've still seen brands like this where they make a really good collection that sells from the inception till date. There are people or there are brands that have made one product. Think of like the Air Force One. Till date, the Air Force One is selling. Think of the Jordan Ones. Till date, the Jordan One is selling. And I think you can achieve the highest ROI when you spend enough time making a really good product. The second thing I'm learning from Dave's situation, or the Dave case study, is that a good product markets itself. When you look at what Dave has been able to achieve, or when you look at artists like Kanye West, when you look at people like or businesses like Apple, you see that most of these brands, even though they do market, people market for them. People are willing to die on the Kanye West hill, no matter what Kanye does, because of the music he's made in the past and how it resonated with people. People are basically preaching his gospel and allowing him to get away with some outrageous things. Me at a point, or myself included at a point, I was going to die on that Kanye hill, and I feel like that's what happens when you make a really, really good product. People market your product for you because it really resonates with them deeply. And that leads us to my third point, that a good product has depth. When you look at Dave's lyrics till date, it's being dissected. How does someone make an album 4 years ago and it's still dissected till date? Shows you the amount of depth and the amount of in attention to detail that they've had towards this album, and there's definitely a lesson there. When you look at people like Kanye, there are multiple people who have done YouTube series on the story behind the songs, the production depth, or everything, like breaking down beats, tearing beats apart. If it's Apple, I don't even need to talk too much about Apple. People relentlessly review and dig deeper into Apple products. So you see that when people build a good product, it builds depth. Now, I think the elephant in the room would be, I keep mentioning established businesses or established brands or established creatives. What about the person up and coming? Do I not need to share my journey? Do I not need to build in public? And I'm not necessarily preaching against the build in public mantra, because I'm a founder recording a YouTube video. So obviously I have some sort of belief in doing that. But I think that in this day and age, people think it's the foundation, but it's not a foundation. If you have a personal brand or you're building in public, whilst you have a really good product, then it's cherry on top. But a lot of people have a weak foundation, have weak products, they have a weak business model, they have a weak offering they are taking to the marketplace, and they focus all their energy on building a personal brand, or content is king, or any of that. And for certain people in certain stages, you can have the two, right? You either have a really strong product or you have a marketing machine. And I think if you don't have a strong business or a strong product yet, you should focus on building that. A lot of people haven't built that depth and that dexterity yet to build a really robust business or a really robust brand. So that's it for today. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, and see you in the next one. Bye.